The Hockenheim circuit plays host to round 12 of the F1 2016 career mode, and in qualifying it was another disappointing session for the two-time world champion of Hayden Gullis, and Red Bull have even come out and said that he needs to improve on both his qualifying and his race performances, otherwise he could face a drop halfway through the season. So Gullis is seriously under pressure at the moment. Another former world champion under pressure is the four-time world champion of Sebastian Vettel. He is way down the field in P21, joining Gullis on that back row of the field. A disappointing session for both of those two drivers. Getting knocked out in Q2 though was Lewis Hamilton. Not a good session there for the three-time world champion. Kimi Raikkonen also not getting into the top 10 shootout. He qualifies in P13. But it was Fernando Alonso who gets pole position ahead of today's German Grand Prix, of Jenson Button alongside him in P2, making it a McLaren front row lockout for the first time I think since the Spanish Grand Prix. Danny Kvyat lines up in third with Daniel Ricciardo in fourth, showing that there is some pace in that Red Bull car. And the championship leader of Sergio Perez lines up fifth with Nico Hülkenberg sixth. So it'll be interesting to see what exactly Gullis can do to stop Sergio Perez from increasing his championship lead. But that is all from the qualifying report. Up next is the German Grand Prix. What is up, people, and welcome back to my F1 2016 career mode here at the German Grand Prix. It's been a while. It's been a whole entire month since the Hungarian Grand Prix. Just got to apologise about that. I kind of went on a very spontaneous holiday to Zante and then went to Silverstone. So I missed out 2 weeks of recording, but then also I don't really have many excuses for the couple of weeks before that. So yeah, sorry about that, but we are going to be getting back into uploads and getting this series finished for when F1 2017 comes out. So expect episodes to be every 3 days sort of thing. But getting into today's German Grand Prix, and that's the Constructors' Championship at the moment. We missed the Drivers' Championship, but that will pop up later on, so we get another chance to look at that. Fernando Alonso, though, is our pole sitter for today. And it's a front row lockout for the McLaren team. A great result there for both Alonso and Jenson Button. We're way down the field, though, in 22nd position. Really bad qualifying session once again, and we're going to have to take some time outside of the actual recording to, sort of improve on our performances and make sure that we qualify further up the field, because that's where we're struggling. We are qualifying so far down that we're just we are making progress through the races, but it's just not enough to get the good results like wins and podiums and stuff like that. Yes, our race pace is still poor, and we have only really got good results because of race strategy, so that does need to improve as well. So we are going to be playing this game a lot more in between Germany and Belgium, so that we can just sort of try and build upon that race pace and try and get further up the field. But we are underway here with the formation lap. And this German Grand Prix is going to be an exciting one. We are starting from the back of the field once again, so it's going to be a case of another last question mark. Whereabouts can we finish in today's race as we are getting underway with this formation lap? And there is, of course, the Drivers' Championship for today. So Sergio Perez leading the way by quite a huge margin at the moment. Nearly 100 points over myself. It is a big margin at the moment. Sergio Perez will be looking to try and close it up as the rest of this race goes on and as the rest of the season goes on, with Alonso in third, Ricciardo fourth, and Jenson Button in fifth. Very close there between both Ricciardo and Jenson Button at the moment. And Alonso is actually closing in on myself. Only 5 points separating us two drivers. So hopefully we can catch up to him. But the race standings for today, going through the grid, it's Alonso in pole position with Jenson Button second, Danny Kvyat in third with Daniel Ricciardo, my teammate, in fourth. Then it's the championship leader Sergio Perez fifth with Hülkenberg sixth. On the fourth row of the grid, it's Roman Grosjean with Carlos Sainz in eighth, Massa in ninth, Gutierrez 10th, Lewis Hamilton in 11th with Kevin Magnussen in 12th, Raikkonen in 13th, Haryanto 14th, Verline in 15th, Ericsson 16th, Palmer in 17th, Bottas 18th. In 19th, it's Rosberg with Nasser 20th. And on the back row of the grid, Sebastian Vettel in 21st. And myself in 22nd. So not a good qualifying session at the end of the day for myself. But looking at the race strategy for today, starting on the soft tyres. And pitting for another set of soft tyres at the first third of the race. And then pitting for a set of medium tyres, which will take us all the way till the end. And hopefully this will be the race strategy to put us in towards the points area. I'm not expecting miracles at today's race, but if I can at least get into the top 10, that would still be a decent result. If I can get some points on board here today, it would be a really decent result indeed. But here we go, coming round the final corner and about to get this race underway. What can we do at today's German Grand Prix? Can we get into the points once again here today? Only time will tell us. The whole grid is formed up. The lights coming on now. It is 4, 5 red lights. It is lights out, and away we go for the German Grand Prix. It's a good start compared to Sebastian Vettel on our left-hand side. Felipe Nasr just ahead of us. We're going to take it nice and cautiously down in towards turn 1. This turn 1 is very tight, so it's very easy to get caught up with other drivers, but it looks like that decision has worked out very well for us as we moved up into P18, now getting past the other Sauber of Marcus Ericsson, moving up into P17, and of course Jolyon Palmer as well. Now getting pinned by the two Manor drivers, getting past Pascal Wehrlein first. Now I've got Kimi Räikkönen just ahead of us, as well as Rio Haryanto. A whole cluster of cars as we go down in towards this hairpin at the Hockenheim Grand Prix. Down in towards the hairpin, up the inside of all these drivers side by side with a Haas. A little bit of a wheel-to-wheel contact between the two of us. The turning circle on our car meant that we couldn't actually turn any more through that corner, but it's worked out amazingly, absolutely amazingly from the race start, and we are up into, I believe, the top 10. We are up into the top 10 already in today's race. We're watching a battle now for second place, as it looks like Sergio Perez also having an amazing start in this race. Remember, he started in P5 and now he's running in P2, which is not good news for us, which means that Daniel Ricciardo needs to do something. It looks like he's going to try something down into the hairpin, side by side between the two drivers. Daniel Ricciardo up the inside. The Australian goes up the inside, gets the job done, and he moves up into P2 for the German Grand Prix. Sergio Perez having a little look in towards a slight kink of a right-hander. Alonso leads the way at the moment by quite a huge margin over the rest of the field. Or is that Jenson Button? I'm not actually entirely sure. No, Alonso does lead the way in this race. The driver comes into the pits. It's Roman Grosjean, and that is going to move us up into P9. Of course, we are on a slight different strategy to the top 10 runners. Most of those guys starting on the super soft tyres, so we will be able to jump ahead of those guys as the race goes on, as the first couple of laps goes on, as now Daniel Ricciardo comes into the pit lane. So we will move up into 8th position because of that one, so that's very nice to take indeed. Daniel Ricciardo moving down the field as he's making a very early pit stop in this race. And more drivers coming into the pits now, so we're going to get past the likes of Danny Kvyat and a few other drivers as well. Moving up into P5 now for this German Grand Prix. Any more drivers coming to pits? Yes, the rest of them now coming into the pits. So the last couple of laps just been, you know, putting in some good lap times, just working our way through the field, and hopefully this tyre strategy will put us at the front of the field. And we are at the front at the moment, up in the lead of the race, but it's not the provisional lead of the race. So we're now watching on board with Fernando Alonso, the pole sitter. No! Disaster for Fernando Alonso on pole position for today's race. He's not going to be able to see it out, as he has had an engine failure here today. It's just typical. It's just typical for a McLaren Honda to have a engine failure. And the virtual safety car has been deployed for today's race, but that is disastrous. Absolutely disastrous there for Fernando Alonso to be out of today's race. We are leading the race. We were thinking about maybe coming into the pits then and there, but unfortunately the virtual safety car didn't stay out for long enough. If it stayed out while we went through the pit lane, then we would have stayed out. We would have gone into the pits and changed for a set of medium tyres. But now we're under pressure from Kimi Räikkönen, who goes around the outside, down into the hairpin. Can he get the job done? He's holding it around the outside. It's a great manoeuvre if he can do it. Yes, he can. Great drive out of the corner, and Kimi Räikkönen moves up into the lead of the race. What a move there from the Ferrari man. The Ferrari are very, very quick at this stage of the season. I think they're the third best team at the moment in this F1 2016 career mode. So Kimi Räikkönen using that to his advantage and taking away the lead of the race from us as we cut ahead now to lap 10. I think this is about the time that we are supposed to be coming into the pits. There's a slight little lock-up as we go in towards that banked corner in the stadium section. I love that corner where it's a little bit banked. The camber helps you round the corner, and yes, I am correct. We are coming into the pits now for our first pit stop in this race, and so does Kimi Räikkönen. But it looks like the Renaults of Jolyon Palmer and Kevin Magnussen decide to stay out. But into the pit stop, what can the Red Bull crew do from here? Can we get out ahead of the Ferrari of Kimi Räikkönen? It seems highly unlikely. No, we won't. Kimi Räikkönen will stay out ahead of us. It's a 2.4 second stop. It's an average stop there for the Red Bull crew. And unfortunately, we have come out behind Kimi Räikkönen. But it does look like we are slightly closer to Räikkönen than we were before we came into the pit stop. Unfortunately, though, we are going to get overtaken by the manner of, I believe that is Rio Haryanto. And that puts us down into 18th position after the pit stop phase. So not good after the first pit stop phase, but there's a lot of this race left to go. We are on a different strategy to the rest of the drivers, so we just have to wait and see what happens. But we are closing in on Rio Haryanto using Slipstream and DRS. Can we go for a dive bomb movement up the inside? Yes, we can. Up the inside, down into the hairpin. Dive bomb move on Rio Haryanto. He's going to hold it around the outside on the left-hand side, down through this slight little kink of a right-hander. Here we go, side by side between myself and Rio Haryanto. He backs out of the move, and we get the job done in towards this left-hander. That's job done on Rio Haryanto, up into P17, and now hunting down Kimi Räikkönen for 16th place in this race. Hopefully we can catch up to a few of the other guys, though, coming into the pits in the next couple of laps. And here we are on lap 11. Few guys into the pits at the moment, including my teammate of Daniel Ricciardo. So Daniel Ricciardo deciding to make a pit stop here on lap 11 of this German Grand Prix. There he is on the right-hand side. We're just about going to get ahead of him. And there we go, moving up into P14. As we now watch this battle going on between the two Renault drivers. You've got Jenson Button there in the McLaren and Nico Hülkenberg just behind. One of the Renaults coming into the pits. That's Kevin Magnussen into the pit lane as we're watching on board now as Jenson Button goes for the overtake on Jolyon Palmer down in towards turn 1. That is not an overtaking opportunity, but Jenson Button gets the job done. And now Jolyon Palmer coming under pressure from the Force India of Nico Hülkenberg as well. He gets past him, moving up into, I believe that is P3 as well. Now under pressure from both the two Toro Rosso drivers. So it looks like the decision to stay out on the medium tyres is not working very well for Jolyon Palmer at the moment. He's coming under pressure from both the Toro Rosso drivers as one of them goes up the inside, down in towards the hairpin. I believe that is Carlos Sainz, and he gets the job done. Carlos Sainz moving up into P4 now for this German Grand Prix. We're now under pressure from Rio Haryanto once again, down in towards the hairpin, side by side between myself and the Manor driver, taking the inside line nice and smooth, under braking and turning. There we go, holding on to position, holding on to P11, even though P11 does not mean anything at the moment. We've got drivers that will be coming into pit lane, including this man right here, Jolyon Palmer, comes into the pits now, and that moves us up into P10. So we're in the points once again for the German Grand Prix, but can we improve on that? As we're watching on board now with Danny Kvyat, who I believe is running in P5 at the moment, going down in towards this left hand. He's got Williams just behind him. I think that's Felipe Massa at the moment out on track. It might be Valtteri Bottas. I'm not entirely sure which Williams driver that is as he comes in towards this fast right hand. A lot of smoke there coming off the back of the car. I'm not too sure. Is that engine or is that a puncher? It's a puncher for Danny Kvyat as Valtteri Bottas goes straight into the back of the Toro Rosso driver. He gets past him in the end, but Danny Kvyat really struggling to hold on and control that car. Yellow flags are now out, so everybody does have to be careful, but Danny Kvyat going so slowly at the moment, and we're going to be coming up onto this trainer cars, which we do. We just go straight up the inside because we can. Because they're going so slow, we are allowed to overtake them, and then it went green, so I'm not too sure whether it actually went green before or after we overtook them, but we got the job done. We haven't got a penalty or anything like that from the stewards, and we're up into P5. We are up into P5. Someone actually got involved in that train, though, is our teammate Daniel Ricciardo. And he is now looking to try and get an overtake down in towards turn 2. Oh, whoa! Contact there between a lot of drivers down in towards turn 2. Massive amount of contact. A lot of drivers spinning off out of control. And that is a big old pile-up. Surely a safety car has to be deployed because of that. I don't think any of the drivers have actually crashed out, though. And that, you know, the yellow flag's gone in. So everybody carrying on nice and fine. So they're not as bad as it actually looked there. So watching on now a battle between Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton here on lap 17 of this German Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel going for the overtake on Lewis Hamilton up the inside, but he can't quite get the job done. And Lewis Hamilton there holding on to this position in this race. But let's have a look at a replay of what's happened down in towards turn 2. So watching on board with Rio Haryanto, it actually sounds like he actually got a collision from behind. It was sort of a domino effect from the other drivers. He went straight into the back of Pascal Wehrlein because of getting hit in the rear. And unfortunately, that sent both of the two Manor drivers in a spin and losing so many positions for both of those. Was Sebastian Vettel the culprit of all of that? Let's have a look. Actually, might have been. It doesn't sound like there was a collision from behind. He goes into the back of the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. That results in the Renault and Ricciardo getting hit. And, of course, the two Manors. And there was just a whole load of debris down in towards turn 2 at the moment. Then watching on board with Sebastian Vettel trying to go for the overtake down in towards the hairpin now. Side by side, sort of, with Lewis Hamilton, then goes for a dive bomb up the inside into the hairpin, but unfortunately just can't get enough of his nose up the inside, sort of pin Lewis Hamilton onto the exit and get that position. Lewis Hamilton just gets a better drive out of the corner and stays ahead of Sebastian Vettel. So a great drive there from Lewis Hamilton in that Mercedes. Here we go, though, back on board with myself. 19 laps gone so far in today's race, starting lap 20. We're in P5 at the moment, having a decent race right now, and actually coming out behind Carlos Sainz. So Carlos Sainz has a whole entire pit stop ahead of us right now, which is not exactly what we want in today's race. We've also got Kimi Räikkönen once again all over our tail, so the battle between myself and Kimi is going to continue. But we're looking to try and close in on Carlos Sainz. If we can't get him down this straight, we're not going to get him around the circuit, because Carlos Sainz is actually quicker than us at this German Grand Prix. And no, we can't get the job done on Carlos Sainz. Unfortunately, he is going to hold on to P4. We're going to have to give up on trying to overtake Carlos Sainz at the moment. Get on with our own race. Try and hold off Kimi Räikkönen at the moment. And here we are on lap 21. I believe we are going to be coming into the pits for our second pit stop in today's race, which we do. There we go, coming into the pits there for our second pit stop in this race. Going onto a set of medium tyres all the way till the end. There's a couple of drivers getting past us now. He is on the left-hand side. It's actually Daniel Ricciardo who has overtaken us, moving up into that P5 slot. But can we come out ahead of Räikkönen? No, we can't. We're a little bit slower. The Red Bull team a little bit slower than the Ferrari crew there. And Kimi Räikkönen gets the jump on us, pushing us down into P8 for this German Grand Prix. We are going to get out just ahead of that Haas driver there. But there we go, settling for P8 for the time being. But can we come back at Kimi Räikkönen? If we can get a great drive through these next couple of corners, all the way down this straight in towards the hairpin, we may have a chance to go for the overtake on Kimi Räikkönen. But I think we're just a little bit too far behind. And just like with Carlos Sainz, if we can't get him through here, we're not going to be able to get him through the rest of the circuit, just because we are not quick enough. So unfortunately, it looks like Kimi Räikkönen is going to get P7 away from us. So Sergio Perez leads this race at the moment. But unfortunately, we're just going to have to settle for this position for the time being. So watching on board now with Daniel Ricciardo going for the overtake on Felipe Massa. Now this is directly behind us. So there we are, going through the hairpin now. Daniel Ricciardo moving past Felipe Massa for 9th position in this German Grand Prix. And there he goes, up into P9. And now he is hunting us down. So it's only going to be a matter of time before Daniel Ricciardo closes in on us and goes for that overtake. Of course, he is my teammate, and we do want to try and get as many points for the team. But we are also in a championship battle, sort of, with Sergio Perez. So we want to try and hold on to that as much as we possibly can. As Daniel Ricciardo right up behind me, right on my gearbox, as we go through turn 2 there, in towards turn 3. He's going to have slipstream and DRS all the way down towards the hairpin. So what exactly can Daniel Ricciardo do? We give him the room on the left-hand side, taking the defensive line down into their hairpin. Can we do anything on Daniel Ricciardo through this corner? Up the inside, late braking on my teammate. Side by side still, giving him the room on the outside. But it looks like he's got a great exit side by side. So close between the two of us. But it looks like he's had a great acceleration out of that corner. Can he get the job done? We're going to go up the inside into the left hand. A slight amount of contact between the two of us. And being a good teammate there, we are going to give that position to him, because it was wrong that we had contact with our own teammates. So we are going to give that position back to Daniel Ricciardo. And unfortunately, I feel like that does mean that he is going to take away that position now. We are under pressure from Felipe Massa, who goes past us on the right-hand side. Lewis Hamilton giving us a little bit of a tap there in the behind as we go down in towards the hairpin, up the inside of Felipe Massa. Late braking compared to the Williams driver, but giving him a lot of room on the exit of that corner, losing the back end ever so slightly. And that unfortunately allows Felipe Massa to get back past us. But here we go, maybe having a look up the inside, down in towards left-hander once again, making contact with the driver. And he's not my teammate, but we try to get past Felipe Massa, but going around the outside there, it just did not work out. And here we are right behind the Williams driver at the moment. Only 3 laps left to go in this race, and we want to get that P7 from Felipe Massa. We want to finish in P7. Having a little look through this camber corner. On the exit, great exit compared to Felipe Massa. Look at that. We're up the inside in towards that left-hander, getting the job done, and back up into P7. Great maneuver on Felipe Massa, but we've still got a lot of work left to do. We need to hold on to this position with 3 laps left to go. Can we do it? Massa's going to be very much on my tail as we go down in towards turn 2. Goes around the outside in towards this corner. Going to defend the inside line. Good job of defending there against Felipe Massa, shutting the door through turn 3. And now all the way through turn 4 down to the hairpin of turn 5. Can we defend from Massa? No, he can't. He's just so fast in a straight line, but goes into the back of us. Going to get the inside line down in towards turn 5 of the hairpin. Side by side, much better under braking. Overshooting the corner though. And Felipe Massa with a great switchback maneuver gets the job done and moves back up into P7. But once again, we're going to try it down in towards his left-hander. Go up the inside, late under braking compared to Felipe Massa. And this time, getting the job done, moving up into P7. And there we go. Overtake of Felipe Massa and getting back up into P7, which is exactly where we want to be. We can't get any further up the field, but we want to at least hold on to P7 as we cut ahead now to lap 33. Only 2 laps of the race left to go. Felipe Massa right on my tail as we go down in towards turn 2. Goes into the back of me there. And another contact, another collision there with Felipe Massa. Not on sure entirely what he was doing down in towards turn 2, which goes straight into the back of me and then turns into me once again in towards turn 2. But this time getting the job done on the left-hand side. He's got a lot of front wing damage, but so do I. Underbraking down in towards the hairpin, locking up massively, but I get the car turned in. I get the job done. There we go. Great overtake on Felipe Massa to move up into P4. The leaders have now started the final lap of this German Grand Prix. Felipe Massa having a little look up through that left-hander. We overtook him on the previous couple of laps, but unfortunately for him not getting past. We're watching this battle now for P2 on the final lap of the race. Nico Hulkenberg goes up the inside on Jenson Button side by side between the two drivers. Nico Hulkenberg getting the job done momentarily, but Jenson Button coming back at him, trying to hold it around the outside of this little king. Can he get the job done? No, he can't. And Nico Hulkenberg moves up into P2, making it a Force India 1-2 at the moment. Great job there from Nico Hulkenberg, overtaking Jenson Button on the final lap of the race. But it is this man. He has been so dominant this season, and this dominance just continues here today as Sergio Perez comes through the final corner. He comes down, takes the checkered flag, and wins the German Grand Prix. A great result there for Sergio Perez. Increases his championship lead over myself and Fernando Alonso. Nico Hulkenberg just about defending his second place there to Jenson Button. Very close finish between those two drivers. Carlos Sainz will come down and take a P4, just missing out on the podium, but good result there for the Toro Rosso driver. Finishing in P5 will be Kimi Raikkonen, most likely. Yes, it is Kimi Raikkonen finishing P5 for today's German Grand Prix. Good race there for the Ferrari driver. He overtook me quite a few times. We had a nice battle, but unfortunately I just was not quick enough to compete with Kimi Raikkonen, and he will take P5 for today's race. Daniel Ricciardo beating me here today, finishing 6th place for today's German Grand Prix. Good result there for my teammate, but we will be finishing in P7 despite starting right at the back of the field. If we can hold on for these final couple of corners, we've got Lewis Hamilton right on our tail in towards the final 2 corners now. Can we hold on to the Mercedes drivers? It looks like we can, and we're going to come home and take P7 for today's German Grand Prix. What a fantastic result. A decent result then here today at the German Grand Prix. Yes, okay, we've lost out a lot of points on our championship rival of Sergio Perez, but we've still got some points on the board, and at the end of the day, these points could be crucial at the end of the season. If you look back at the previous seasons that we have done, the championship has been decided by only a few points. So at the end of the day, this could be the matter of winning or losing the championship. We will just have to wait and see how that goes. We are going to be taking a little bit of a break. I filmed this German Grand Prix ages ago, so I've been taking a bit of a break, just putting in the laps on time trial and stuff like that, trying to get better F1 2016 to be able to compete once again with the front runners. So hopefully by the time we get to the Belgian Grand Prix, we will be in a good place against the AI drivers, but we just have to wait and see for that. But Sergio Perez is our race winner for today, with Nico Hulkenberg 2nd, Jenson Button 3rd, Carlos Sainz 4th, Kimi Raikkonen finished in 5th with Daniel Ricciardo 6th, myself in 7th, Lewis Hamilton just behind us in 8th, with Nico Rosberg in the other Mercedes in 9th, and Pascal Wehrlein getting the final championship point here today at his home race, with Esteban Gutierrez and Danny Kvyat just missing out on the points. Looking further down the field, Rio Haryanto finishes in 13th with Sebastian Vettel 14th, that's Roman Grosjean in 15th with Marcus Ericsson in that Sauber in 16th, Felipe Massa 17th, Jolyon Palmer 18th, Valtteri Bottas in 19th with Felipe Massa in 20th and Kevin Magnussen 21st, and Fernando Alonso, the only driver to not finish after getting that engine failure very early on in the race. So this is how the driver standings look after 12 rounds of this season. 5, Sergio Perez still leads the way, and now by 101 points. A huge margin over myself in the Drivers' Championship. It's not good. It is not good at the end of the day, and with less than 10 races left to go, we've got our work to do. We've got our work cut out for us if we want to try and challenge for the Drivers' Championship. We have not given up hope, though. This is our last season on F1 2016. I want to challenge for the championship, and I'm not going to give up hope. I have increased my lead, though, over Fernando Alonso, with Daniel Ricciardo sort of getting in that battle for second place as well, same as Jenson Button. So it's very close between us lot and, of course, Nico Hulkenberg as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens between us 5 drivers. And finally, the Constructors' Championship. There are 94 points separating Force India and Red Bull Racing at this stage of the season. We are actually quite close in a battle with McLaren Honda as well. So we'll be looking to try and stay ahead of McLaren and maybe try and catch up to Force India as the season goes on. Like I said, I'm going to be putting in the practice to try and get better for the Belgian Grand Prix. The Belgian Grand Prix will be coming to you guys in the next couple of days. I'm doing it so that the episodes are going to be every 3 days sort of for the next couple of weeks before F1 2017, because I want to get the season wrapped up and finished. I don't want to leave it hanging on a cliffhanger. I want to get it finished for the time that F1 2017 comes out, even if that may mean that the editing is slightly worse in the next couple of episodes. So it will still be good quality videos, but it just won't be up to the standard of what it has been recently. I'm sorry as well about my voice today. I'm a little bit poorly. I've got a bad cough, and I've had to sort of split this commentary up into about 6 sections, which is not what I like to do. But thank you guys very much for watching today's episode, if you have made it all towards the end and this way. So thank you guys very much for watching. Don't forget to smash a like on the video if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so for daily Formula 1 content. And don't forget to share this video with your friends. And I will see you next time at the Belgian Grand Prix. But until then, it's goodbye from me.